Activate party mode.
A-firm, party mode engaged.
Hello and welcome to the Party Mode podcast, the F1 podcast with no limits. I'm joined by my good friend Charlie Curtis, but not Matthew Collins. He will be joining us later, I assume, unless, Charlie, have you driven him off the road to his death and destruction somehow?
Fortunately, I have not, but he is not local. He's out of town and figuring out his camera setup, internet setup, all that good stuff. So, speaking of being out of town, where are you, Jethro?
I am in Germany, so I've had an awesome day. I think Top Gear will probably be upset at me talking about it, but I think it's fine. I started the day, I'm in Stuttgart, so I went to Porsche. They have effectively they have a museum in Zuffenhausen near Stuttgart, which is a fantastic place, but in the museum they can only have so many cars, right? And they've got hundreds of historic race cars and prototypes. So somewhere in Stuttgart, I don't even know where it is, but I was taken to a big warehouse to pick up a car, but it's their secret vault effectively. So on the outside, it doesn't look like anything, but you go in and there's literally hundreds of Le Mans winning cars, one-off prototype cars, first ever, 911, early 35. So it's like, if you like Porsche, and even if you don't, I'm not into car museums. I find them really boring normally. But this place has got stuff that no one ever knew that Porsche built, stuff that probably still hasn't been unveiled to the public. They, every year or every couple of years now, they sort of release 10 or 12 prototype or half a dozen prototype pictures of these crazy cars that they've built that have never made it. But this is where they keep everything. So we were picking up an amazing car, Carrera GT, which is their supercar from like 2004. It was, at the time, it was like probably, I'm trying to think in dollars, $400,000, £330,000, maybe $500,000. So it was like their top car. 5.7 V10, naturally aspirated manual gearbox. So it's last of the old school supercars, really, and it's unbelievable. And we're doing like a V10 test. So we're doing that with a Lexus LFA, which is this super rare. They only made 500. Both V10 engines, so they sound like old Formula One cars. Super cool. So yeah, I wanted to live in this museum for all this facility for a few hours, but we couldn't. I just had a quick skirt around, and then we had to leave. And it's been awesome, but it's also been very, very rainy. So I've sort of had the elation of these two amazing cars, and we've had such dry weather in the UK for literally like 6 weeks, and then I've come to Southern Europe, and it's bloody pouring with rain. So yeah, sort of sucks.
It's crazy to me that, like when we travel, we go to a different state, and that's plenty far, like a 6-hour flight to New York or to the East Coast or whatever. And whenever you travel, it's inevitably to another country altogether, which is just so foreign to me. Like, I feel like you are in so many different countries that you say it like as if I was going to Vegas or I was going to San Francisco or something. But for you, it's just, that's the same. But for me, it's like, you're in a different country. You're in Italy now. You're in Germany. You're in all these different places. So,
but it's nearer,
cool.
That's what's cool. Like it was,
yeah.
I flew from London. Flight was a bit delayed, but it was hour and a half flight or whatever. It's not far.
Yeah.
We could have driven. We actually this morning, because everyone got delayed, we struggled to pick up our hire cars because we got in so late and stuff. So everyone was like, we should have just driven. It would have probably been less stressful and easier. But yeah, that is when I started doing this job as a straight out of uni, basically. That was the freedom that I'd never experienced, because I'd been on holiday in Europe, but we hadn't done like big driving trips and stuff. But to suddenly you drive your car onto a train, you get out and you're in France, and then you can drive for a few hours and be in Germany, or you can drive a bit further and go to Switzerland and go to Italy and Spain or Portugal. You can just get places, and that freedom is mega. I do love that, and we've slightly locked ourselves out of that freedom with Brexit. But anyway, yeah, so it's been cool. So I've had a great day after a week of living with my wife on a diet. So this has been a nice tonic after
Okay.
a week of hunger being directed at me in great torrents of rage.
We've got a pre-summer diet going. Is that what we got?
Yeah. The weird thing is, like, Laura's tiny, so she's 5 foot tall. She doesn't weigh anything in American terms. She's like 100 pounds or something. She's a teeny little thing, but because she's small, she feels like if she puts any weight on at all, that it shows.
Yep.
So
Yep.
she probably wants to lose like 4 or 5 pounds. But she will not listen to me. Like, whatever I say is generally wrong. Because I did like some weight loss stuff, and I did a carb-free diet for a while, which worked really well. And then I cut sugar in January. I did no sugar for like January, February, March, basically. And I lost weight so easily. I felt like I was eating more calories, but I was like, I was just losing weight because I wasn't eating sugar. So I suggest this, and it's a bad idea. But then, so she decides to go on a calorie deficit diet. But because she's so tiny, she only needs like, I don't know, 1,200 calories or something to survive. So to go under what she needs, according to the science, is like living off the food of a toddler.
Nothing.
You know, it's no food. And then just once she'd started, one of her friends said, "Oh, we've gone on to the carnivore diet," or whatever it's called, which is sort of what I was suggesting. But obviously when I said it was wrong. But when her best friend said it, it was a fucking great idea. So then she moved on in that direction. And so she's not only doing the calorie deficit thing, but she's also doing the carnivore. So, and she's lost weight really quick. Not that she needed to. But yeah, I've been on the receiving end of the hanger. She's a hangry girl at the best of times. So yeah, so that's been fun.
Did you get a bratwurst or some sort of sausage in Germany while you're there?
Do you know, the funny thing is,
and a pretzel maybe?
Yeah, I've just been on the shoot. I'm really tired because we got up super early. The boys have gone out because they're having dinner. So I got room service and I got a currywurst, which is my go-to when I get to Germany. So it's, yeah, sausage with curry sauce, basically. So my room stinks currently of currywurst, which is all right by me, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So it's been cool. It's been really cool. And like I say, it's been a nice little break from the rage, but I think the diet's ending now. So I'll go home to a happy family. Yep. I hope.
Yep.
But there wasn't really much happy families going on in Spain, was there?
No. And what a race. So we watched, Matt is out of town, but I did a watch party and we had some listeners come and join us. It was a ton of fun. And so we got to do that. It was less of a disaster than the first week. We had power when we arrived. I brought an extension cord that was appropriate length. And it was awesome. So that was really fun. And we're going to do that again. So for anyone listening, I will post again when we do the next one. We're trying to get some midday, like Canada, I think is at 12 here. And I see no reason why they wouldn't want us there to bring people there and do whatever. But the initial conversation was only in the morning. But we watched it live. And mostly because of Max, that might have been my favorite race so far.
Really? Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because there was some doom and gloom about Spain. There was all this intrigue, wasn't there, about the flexi-wings, which we didn't talk that much about because I think we had a feeling that it was going to be a big fat nothing. And as it turned out to be, effectively, there was almost no change in the pecking order that we could see.
Well, and then it was McLaren like, too. Wasn't the thing with McLaren is that the whole time all these other teams had basically been calling them out, and they're like, no, we're up to regulation anyway. So there was half the thought was that McLaren wouldn't have to change a single thing, and everyone else had to make adjustments or whatever. But yeah, it was the rumor mill, and nothing panned out.
It was nothing panned out. And even Lewis Hamilton, he was like, it's just a waste of money and time for everyone, which is right. It's like a huge waste of resources to not change the pecking order. Oh, we've been joined by the man himself.
We've been joined by Matt.
What's up?
How's it going?
Rushed through New York to get here.
Through New York? Great. I thought you were in Toronto.
I was for 24 hours. I had like a flight delayed. I got in at 3 a.m. I then worked for 10 hours, got to sleep, got 5 hours sleep, and left for New York this morning at 5.
There we go.
And what have you
The
been
Big
doing
Apple.
today then? What have you been doing?
Today we're doing like Dyson, like these secret press briefings on some up and coming stuff. So we have that the next few days. So today we just had a run through with all the engineers and stuff. Yeah,
Sweet.
I had a classic like thin slice of New York pizza earlier. Oh my god, it was amazing.
First thing when you land.
I was dreaming about it because like I've not been eating carbs, so the only thing I've wanted is a perfect slice of pizza, and I had that, and it was magical.
Oh, this
Well,
we
we were just
talking
talking about diet and how Jethro got to escape his diet at home while he's in Germany.
You're on a diet? What's your diet?
I'm not on a diet. My wife's on a diet, so I'm not escaping my diet. I'm escaping her in the throes
Having
of
to
a
eat
diet.
hers. I've been on a diet. I've lost 18 pounds.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
Just on food? No,
food.
No Ozempic.
No,
well,
I'm
food, and when Matt moved a couple months ago, he now has 1 billion stairs.
Yeah.
So I think
I
it's probably.
I do Muay Thai
Muay
like
Thai,
6 times a week, but this was hilarious. So I go through security, leaving LA, and I go up and I give them my passport. I always just use my passport to, and I go and you have to take the biometric photo now. So I take the photo and he's like, it's not matching up. What? I guess I cut my hair, but like it should know this. I gave him my green card. He's like, it's not matching up. This is a problem, sir. I'm like, because I've lost a little weight and I cut my hair. It can't tell who I am. And then they had to call these people over and finally I was cleared. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like,
wow.
I was like, is this really like all my shit is void because I lost a bit of weight and I cut my hair a little shorter?
I mean, you don't look unrecognizable, do you?
No, not at all. But Ozempic might screw with TSA for another year. If that's
Right?
the case, no one be allowed to fly.
All I listen to is spy novels, and it's all about like biometric, like so-and-so's this terrorism's face was recognized in Finland, but all everyone has to do is take Ozempic, and you don't have facial recognition won't work.
Yeah, it's funny that we talk about this because I've become aware because it's been such a big deal in the States, hasn't it, for ages, Ozempic. Mm-hmm. So we now have it in the UK. It's Mounjaro is the one that everyone uses over here. And the amount of people I know who have suddenly lost huge amounts of weight, and everyone I speak to, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm on the Mounjaro, and I've lost 10 kilos in a month or whatever." It's insane. It's like this could be the end. Charlie, your career's over, mate. You're not going to need any fitness trainers anymore.
But you lose muscle too, so you gotta that's the problem is you lose fat. But then, on a lot of people, you can spot it right away. You can be like, this is rapid weight loss, and you also lost half of your muscle. So,
yeah.
What's the health community's take on it?
Well, I'm interested in how it's received in the UK. Like, are people telling you about it? Like, when you ask someone, do you find that people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking Mounjaro, and that's
mostly
very open." Yeah,
mostly I would say, because I've had several people and funnily enough, there's a guy on this shoot, and he got out of the car and I was like, wow, he's lost a good chunk of weight. And I said, what's going on? And he was like, I'm eating a bit healthy, blah blah blah. And then he was like, plus I'm having the fat jabs. So it was like
the fat jabs. I love that.
So this could also be just like a Los Angeles specific thing for sure. But I don't think it's the case here. No one wants to say they're on it. They want all of the praise and the responsibility. They did it on their own, no assistance, no whatever. And so I think it's different in that. Like, people you might get it out of some people, but it's not what they lead with. It's like way down on the list of things they've done. It's I started exercising. I eat a little less. I've cut this out or that out. And then at the very bottom of that list is, and I'm taking Zepbound or whatever it may be.
And the worst is I don't care if people are on it. I got all for everyone using it. But I've definitely seen some people that are almost becoming a little preachy. that they've like, this is all you have to do to like get out and walk a little bit more. And you're like, yo, you also should then say this, or just post a photo and say, I feel great about myself, because that's fine. But like, don't make it seem like you found the magic. Like I walked.
You just
an extra
added
2 miles.
5,000 steps a day. Yeah.
No,
yeah, exactly.
It's not how it works.
Yeah, I think it's great though.
I do too. I mean, we have the opposite problem. So why not use some science to fix it? But, teach their own. Matt, we were just talking about the flexi-wing build up to this race and how it didn't have any effect, really. It was rumor mill stuff.
And Zach Brown was even like talking about like making a stab in a post, be like, yeah, it meant nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, total waste of time. But luckily, who needs flexi-wing controversy when you've got Max Verstappen pinballing into people at the end? I think we just have to go straight to it, though. Well, I say that. We've been going for like 15 minutes. Max taking out George.
And I guess it's so weird with like Leclerc and like what happened there. It's like, that was a tricky one. I don't know. It kind of did look like Charles like went into him a little bit, but I know he was trying to get a line. I don't know what was happening, but the Russell thing was just like, to be the guy that's in the most control of your car on the grid, there's no one who looks worse doing it. Like if that was Lawson that did that, people would be like, lost control of his car, idiot. But like Max, it's like, no, you fucking, you did it.
Well,
See,
yeah. No one would
I
know if
love
Lawson did it or not. You love it, yeah.
No. I love it. And I think the reason, I was thinking about it, because I think the reason is Formula One, I'll say even soccer, these international European sports, there's like this formality to them, right? There's like protocols and it's proper. It's very structured. And like in American sports, you get a little bit more, I think, of individual athlete personality. You get the crazy guy that's going to, be, I don't know, getting arrested, whatever it is. Like you have football players that are always making a huge scene somewhere on the field, or they're arguing this or that, or fighting with someone. And so that's kind of what I'm used to, like these giant, big personalities that are outliers. And so finally, I think for Formula One, we're seeing that with Max. Like he's that guy. And he's just kind of turned into like a villain.
Yes.
And it's fascinating. I mean, I guess if anyone didn't watch, we had kind of a little aggressive driving from Leclerc to pass Max right after he had that almost wreck.
Yeah, so effectively, Max had done a 3-stop race, which had worked out really well for him, and he was pretty close to the McLaren.
Surprisingly well.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? How is he right there? And he did an extra 30, like lost 28 seconds or 26 seconds?
Yeah, he was just quick. And they did a great strategy, but then there was a late safety car when Antonelli's car blew up, went into the gravel. So because Max had done this 3-stop strategy, he had no new tyres except a set of hards, and the hards were crap. Everyone comes in because it's safety car, they get a free pit stop. But in hindsight, maybe he should have stayed out on his used soft tyres because he comes in for hards.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
they were only 6 laps in or something.
Yeah. He's really annoyed, so he's already frustrated about that. Then he has a big wobble on the restart, and Leclerc overtakes him and also squeezes him a bit, and there's a bit of bodywork, so he's doubly angry. Then George dive bombs him, and as he does so, loses control, which means Max has to take to the escape road, which I think was legit. I mean, that he could only do that, and it was George's fault. But for some reason, then his engineer, GP, gets on the radio and tells him to give the place back. So he's had all these instances leading up to this rage. He doesn't want to give the place back. Then he sort of looks like he's going to give the place back. He slows right down and then just effectively drives into Russell. So it was proper red mist moment, wasn't it?
Well, and also Max had been complaining. He rammed into me. He forced me off the track. Like he was so angry about both moves. And
he wanted the place back from Leclerc, right?
Yeah. And so, because watching on the broadcast that I was watching, it was unclear, like if Max knew who was who. Like if when he was forced off by Leclerc, if maybe he thought that was George, like you couldn't really tell. And I don't think either of them were that egregious. I think they were both fine, George and Leclerc. But whatever. He was really hot about one of them. And so then you have like a 1 lap break, and then next thing you know, over the radio, he's being told to give the position back. And his mind just must have exploded in there.
Because there wasn't a radio after he was asked
he
that.
didn't
Like,
say anything.
They didn't, but I'm like, did he not say anything? Or was it just like, we just can't air bleep, 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 bleep. Like, we can't do it. Because it was.
I like to think that he didn't say a single word, and then everyone on that Red Bull garage was like, "Oh shit."
He just didn't click the button, but in his like he was just like
it was bad. And then yeah, he and the what I think made it better or worse, depending on which side you're on, was that he did let him slow down to let him pass, and he definitely bumped into him as if you're driving those K1 golf carts, you know. And then 1 or 2 turns later, just let him by. But it was like, I'm going to make a point here that I don't like this, and then I'll continue on.
Well, part of my pulp, and I'm going to just say that now because it works with that, is in the cool down room after. They're watching the screen, and Lando literally said, "Yeah, I've done that in Mario Kart."
Yeah, it was brilliant.
I was like,
it was
fucking
so good.
Amazing, because in that cool down room, you could tell like everyone knows it's going to be basically what I talk about. And then also Oscar is so calm and collected. You can tell he's just like, that happened. But you know what's going through his head. Like, it's so funny to watch him every time. And everyone's just not saying it, but you can see by the look in their eye, they're all saying exactly what we're all thinking.
But you're right, Charlie, about this weird sensibility, because I was watching and then listening to the post-race stuff because I was on my way to the airport. No one would say what they actually thought. Like, everyone's terrified. Just like anyone who has eyes can see that he slows down, George goes to overtake him, and he rams into him. Like, it's as clear as day. And then I heard all the experts, like, I heard a couple of the pundits, well, as I haven't raced at that level, I don't really know what's happened. I'm like, I've never done a 100-meter Olympic final, but if someone halfway
Stuck
down
their leg out
down
and
the
tripped
race
me.
pushes someone over, I know they're cheating. Like, I don't need to have been in a Formula One race to know that that's the case. But it was this weird, like, do you think he did it? And they're like, I haven't said that yet. And then they're like going into all this. It's like, like everyone knows what he did. He basically, I love that he sort of didn't admit that he'd done it, but didn't deny it. And now he said it shouldn't have happened, but hasn't actually apologized. He's incapable of saying sorry to anything, which is hilarious. I love it.
He did release that statement today or whatever. And yeah, it's like, I'm sorry you feel this way. I'm sorry that everyone else.
It's like the narcissistic apology. It's like, I'm sorry that this affected you.
Yeah, it really is. It's so good. But
and then, all his. Did you see the one interview? I couldn't see the interviewer, but it was a woman, and she was asking him about the incident and blah blah, and then kind of grilled him on it. Like said, well, it's not a good look, especially with all these kids watching and blah blah blah. And he looks at her just stone cold. He's like, "That's your opinion."
Yeah,
and
I saw it.
And it's like, just shut her down and like. I mean, we've talked about the press interview questions before, but it's like she was trying to get that. Like, she went for it. She was pressing him on it so hard.
She did. Yeah.
And he was not going to entertain that at all.
Yeah.
I'm really into this Russell Max feuds coming back up. We thought it was squashed, and now it's like, it's a whole lot of season left. Last time, what was it like? Was it the last or second last race of the season? It happened last year.
Yeah. And now they potentially pretty close together again, aren't they? If Merck can just find a little bit, they're always going to be in and around each other, I think, on the track. So it could be pretty good, I think. And now I think Max got less to lose than he even did before. I think he feels like he's completely out of the title race. He's just going to be as difficult as possible for everyone, isn't he? But I sort of agree. I think it was out of order, and I would be pretty annoyed if I was Russell. But as a fan watching, when everyone's so polite and no one will even say what they can clearly see with their own eyes, and everyone in the world has just witnessed on about 500 different camera angles, it's cool to see someone just being like, yeah, whatever. Not just like, what are you going to do about it, basically? And they didn't really do much. He got a 10-second penalty, and now he got 3 points, didn't he, on his license? But
yeah, he's got 1 point left until he is suspended. And he has 2 points that expire on the 20th of this month. So basically, Canada, if he fucks up, he's not racing the next race.
Yep.
And then
that'll
really
be fun.
Trouble. Then they're really in trouble. Yeah, because
that's it. I think at that point, Sauber is going to overtake them in constructors.
Oh my god!
And George is just gotta be the one guy that rubs him the wrong way. In all these like the one guy. I mean, he even just the way he addressed questions, and it was like, well, I finished up in P4 and he finished in P10, so he cost his team. So just like all the little things that but like they're just like the little daggers, not all like
the digs.
Yeah, just all the little digs that there's really no comeback to. Like if he had talked about Max being too aggressive or doesn't care about the rules, Max, that's fine. But it's all the other like really logical things that George is just so, proper about.
But what was Max's response? It was like, because he said about, kids watching and blah, blah, blah. And Max was like, oh, well, next time I'll bring the tissues.
Yeah. He doesn't care. It's great. He
doesn't care. He does not care.
It's so good.
And he's operating at such a high level. It's hard for the team not to just back him, because what else are they going to do? They're desperately scared they lose him. And it looks like if they did lose him, they would literally reverse to the back of the grid. I mean, we've probably covered the Max thing. I think we're all vaguely in support of what a sort of dude he's become when he's not dominating. He's just going for it. But not even poor Yuki. This time is the first time I'm like, no real excuses. Like qualifying dead last. What's it all about?
He was saying like practice and qualifying, he's just like, I don't understand. Like he just doesn't. He literally is admitting, I don't fucking know what to do. He must be so upset. But how in Red Bull could he have said no? Could he just say no? I'm gonna stick with this car, or he had to go try it.
I think you got to give it a try.
Yeah. You'd always regret it if you didn't, but now he's fucking like, what the fuck? Lawson's ahead of me in everything, and I'm in the best car.
Think these cars have sensors for everything. Everything the drivers are doing, everything the tires are doing, what the aero loads are, what the corner speed. They have like every single piece of data, and Yuki can look at it. He can look at Max's data. He can comb over it for hours, do whatever he wants. And he still can't even get within, what was it, 3/4 of a second or something, which in F1 is like an insane amount of time, especially this season, when the margins are at hundredths, not even tenths. So it's baffling to me, because we know Yuki's good. If they painted a Racing Bulls in Red Bull colours and gave it to Yuki, he's going to qualify 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever, and he's going to get a good result. So what
couldn't
is
they
the
not
story?
Do that? Is that illegal?
They should do that.
It seems legal.
I assume it's illegal because it's something about their separate teams and they'd have separate intellectual property. And, it's got to be your own car. It can't just be a carbon copy. But they own both teams.
They know the specs of that car. So, like, maybe they're not getting the actual design, but there's someone that knows the specs of that car. And we're like, all right, well, I'll make my own version that's somehow different but the same. I don't know. It seems
it would be the solution.
Outside of, even though Max is doing well, it's not like it looks like his car is good. He's doing these crazy things. He's got a really good strategy. The 3-stop strategy just worked really well. So even his car doesn't look good, but the Racing Bulls, their car looks good. Like when they're driving, it looks good. It looks like they're both handling. Lawson's kind of settled in now. It looks like they're both handling. Hadjar isn't crushing it, but their car looks good. Like something about, even though they're not finishing as high as Max, like it just looks better. It looks like it's performing how it should.
I have to say, I don't think I saw a single sequence of Lawson driving the car where he wasn't crashing into someone in the race. Like, they'd go to Lawson and every single time, be like, oh, in 1 second's time, he's going to crash into someone. And he would every single time.
Yeah.
It's like, I get, like, being ballsy is great. We applaud Max for the ballsiness. But Lawson just seems to, like, he's like calamitous almost. It's like, I'm going to do this really cool, but I've crashed. Oh, I've bumped into someone again. It's insane.
Well,
he
and
almost
the thing
fucked
is,
up Max's race
Yeah.
that one
big
time. Because he was
Big time.
he was supposed to be lapped, and he's like, "This is my moment." It's like, no, that's when you're absolutely not supposed to have that moment.
That was a disaster when Lawson was battling on track. And yeah, they were both lapped at the time. And Max is coming through the field at the end of the race, needing just a clear path. And he's got his teammate there, couldn't be more perfect. And then Lawson doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's just battling, getting in the way of everything, not letting anyone by. But I was going to say, it's funny because if Lawson had done what Max did in letting George pass and hit him, there's an argument that maybe he didn't mean to. Like, who knows what happened?
For
but
sure.
It's just because it's Max. We're like, oh no, we know that he wouldn't normally just accidentally do that. He did.
I
that
mean,
on
he
purpose.
literally slows down to walking pace. George goes round the outside of him and he drives straight at him. He doesn't drive at the corner and lock up. He drives into the guy's car and then carries on. It's like, it just cracked me up. The only person who'd say I watched it on the Sky broadcast is Nico Rosberg, who he's a strange character, but and he's got some.
I like
crazy,
him when he announces.
He's just completely blunt. He's been there and he's done it. He's got amazing European billionaire hair, I think, hasn't he? So he looks like, it's incredible.
It's incredible.
But he's like, why are we, on the Sky broadcast, he's like, why are we even discussing this? Of course he drove into it. And he was right. This is what everyone's screaming at their TV. This is not a debate. Was it deliberate or not? Of course it was.
No. Yeah. It was so obvious. And
It
of all
was
the people, Max to be the one that did, like, of course it's obvious.
Yeah, it was so obvious. Okay, so what were the other big things in the race? I guess.
Well, so I almost had a perfect record this race. So I predicted Piastri to win, and I predicted Alonso 10th place, which it's debatable because he did finish the race in 10th, but then fucking Max gets his penalty. So Max also fucked me because I don't think I've ever had a race win and P10 win in the same time. But I think I was a risky move picking Alonso, and also before this race, he was having the worst season since his rookie season, and then gets in 10th, and he could have done better, but he had that fucking really big fuck up earlier on the race. He would have been way up.
You have done well with P10 because I know we keep missing who picked what. We're not very good at that at the moment, but Lily Patterson contacted me with a spreadsheet of our P10 results.
She does so good at those.
Yeah, and the weekend that we forgot, and you thought I'd won it, Matt, it was you. So you've done it twice. You had Yuki that weekend. So you've had two, and you've had two for real, and you've had three on the road, but then the penalty has put it the other way. So you're on fire with the P10. You're doing good.
More excited than that, I was pumped about Hulkenberg. Like,
amazing.
I've always kind of thought this and never said that. I was like, I weirdly think that Hulkenberg might be one of the top 5 drivers on the grid.
Yeah.
He's kind of understated. He's always been in the worst car. And like, if Audi pulls something out next season, I would love to see Hulkenberg just go up to be a top 5 driver next year. Because he's in a horrible car, smashing it.
He's great.
Yeah.
And he's always been great. Like when he was younger, he was one of those guys, everyone was like, this guy's future world champ. He's super good. He's never quite been in the right car. Things have gone a little bit awry, and he's definitely not fulfilled his potential. But he is a quick, good race driver. I think he's brilliant. And I really like him. He's just cool, calm, understated, and gets on. And when there's an opportunity, that if he sniffs an opportunity, he gets the most out of it. He's a really good driver. I like him. I like him a lot. And I know some people who've passengered with him. He was Aston Martin's reserve driver for a while. And they launched their Valkyrie hypercar and a track version, which was like super quick. And some people I know went out with him and were like, it was utterly insane. And even Aston Martin's test driver, who developed the car and is a really good driver in his own right and has won at Le Mans and stuff like that, he said the way he drives it is outrageous. Like, he's an absolute alien. So yeah, he is. I agree. He's a top driver.
So happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, and just the penalty for Max on top, just to bump him up one extra spot. Why not give him a P5? I mean,
what a day!
Perfect.
What a day!
And everyone was pumped. Like, everyone was so happy for him. Which also, it's like, he's also a guy that just everyone likes. He just seems like that middle guy that maybe he hangs out with everyone, maybe he doesn't, but everyone's like, he's the best.
He's a dude. Yeah. He's a dude.
Yeah.
I like him. I think the other news was Charlie, your boy is so depressed, isn't he? Lewis is literally like, I fear for him. He needs round the clock attention at the moment. He's so down. It's insane. Even though he qualified ahead of Charles, but just an awful day for him.
Awful day. And we had talked about it earlier that I thought the big test is going to be when one of them does really well, because they're both really good drivers. The car's not there. But when we see one of them, it's like Max and whoever his teammate is, there's such a big gap. Leclerc and Hamilton's races look completely different. And you have to assume they're in the same car, and it's just not working. It's not working. It's not working. He did have a good qualifying, but it didn't even feel like he did.
No. And he out-qualified him because I think Leclerc only did one run, didn't he, really? But the weird thing, and I don't know if you guys watched it, but when Leclerc was behind, but clearly a lot faster, you say they're in the same car. They clearly are. Visibly, Lewis's car looked shit. Like, you can watch it
all over
sliding.
The place.
It's not gripping. He's like, and behind him, Leclerc's on rails. It's like he's in a different car. And I'm like, I don't think they drive that differently. Their setup can't be that different. Like, how does that happen? And I think that's one of the weird things about F1 that you can't explain. You can change one thing here, or a car suits one driver one way, and the same car can look like two different completely situations happening on track. It was visible. It's the most shocking visible sign I've seen of one car sliding around and Leclerc.
And I'm the last person to say, like, to agree with Lewis letting him by. I'm like, let him race it out. But that time, you see it. It's like, this couldn't be more obvious. You're right. He's sliding out every turn, and it just looks like Leclerc is sitting there.
And then at the end of the what I find telling now, he often talks about Ferrari as them rather than we will find this. He'll when he's on script, he'll say we will or us, but very often he just slips in a they. They're like, the interviewer was like, what are you going to look at? Do you think you'll figure it out? And he's like, I'm sure they won't. He says they, and it's quite often he does it, and he's not feeling at home and loved, that is for sure. And he's not performing either, so it's like it's such a tricky situation. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Do you think he's like has celiac and he's just not eating there because he can't have pasta or bread? Like is that just it? He's having a really rough time with his diet and it's throwing him right off.
All comes back to diet. Back to diet. This is what it is.
God,
I don't know.
It's sad.
It's inexplicable. Is honestly, other than he hasn't got it. He hasn't got that last bit anymore, and Leclerc is just ahead. That's at the moment. That's the only conclusion you can reach because it's in front of your eyes. And maybe he can disprove us, and I hope he does. We've got Canada coming up. He's great there. Silverstone's not too far off. He's great there, but it's not looking like a fairy tale. The exact opposite of a fairy tale, basically.
Yeah, it's not panning out. And I have to imagine it starts with his engineer. Like, they clearly don't get along. They don't communicate. I don't even know if they don't get along, but they're just not on the same page with anything. The questions he asks, the answers he gets, they're just not on the same page.
They play it down, but it's not working. Yeah, I agree.
It's not working.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, we haven't even talked about the top two, but Oscar basically he beasted. I thought he beasted Lando, didn't he?
Yeah.
he smashed him in qualifying. In the race, there was a couple of times Lando would get close, but literally as soon as he got under 3 seconds, Piastri just disappeared for pulled it out to 5. It was almost like it was like he was playing with him a little bit, and it must have hurt. The only thing I thought at the end, having just demolished him like that and looking like he was playing it, I'm surprised Piastri wasn't like, yeah, it was easy, but easy race. Because I think that would have turned the screw. Do you know what I mean? I think he should have done that.
But it
somehow.
was interesting that Lando did say in one of his post-race interviews, like the better driver won today or something along those lines. And I thought that was interesting. Like, was that a subconscious Freudian slip where you
got to hold your hands up.
Yeah,
you have to
maybe
hold your
he's
hands
just,
up.
that's the thing. He's looking at him and he's like, fuck, this kid is good and is stone cold. Like, maybe he's just realizing like he's a better driver than me and there's nothing I can do about it. And maybe I'm going to have the odd race win when he kind of fucks up. But if he doesn't fuck up, he's perfect.
Yeah, I definitely have the feeling that Lando is good for a race here and there. Like he's going to really stick a lap to get him on pole when he needs to, or he's going to do that one magical race every so often. But Piastri is just really good, really consistent all the time. And he's getting like the reputation now. He's having great starts. Lando has the opposite. So he's in the pole.
It's such a good start. Both, the restart.
Pole. Well, and then you get to restart, and had those spots been switched, I wouldn't have been confident that Lando keeps it. But Piastri, no problem.
And he did that move because he like kind of fucked them all up, and Max almost went into Lando, and Lando almost fucked up. Like, I was like, you just got them all fucked up, and then you booked it. It was awesome.
Yeah, top job. He is really good. Listen, I know we're on the clock today, so let's get on to pulp. Matt, give us your pulp.
We talked about a lot of it. Another cute thing. I think it was the first time we saw Lando's sister there. I loved it. She had the cute little gum piercing. And at first, because I don't think we've ever seen her before, I was like, shit, does he have a new girlfriend? Like, what the fuck? And then, because they didn't really look alike, and he signed the champagne to her.
But going back to the girlfriend from last week, they did on the screen this week say Lando's
For
partner.
Lando's girlfriend?
Yeah.
They made it official over the week. They got permission from Lando.
She got upgraded.
But what was funny is because he signed the champagne and dedicated to his sister. And then I guess F1 posted it. And Oscar's mom, who I love it, she's the best troll ever. She posted on it, she said, if you're giving the champagne to Elba, I think her name's Elba, maybe, then you're responsible for her all night. Which is just fucking amazing. Like, his mom is the shit. She's, I think, the coolest F1 mom out there, period. So that was awesome. Also, I don't know if you guys talked about it before I came on, but Stroll's wrist injury. They've come out now and said he's been having this wrist injury for a while, which then, all right, like, did it just get really injured the last practice or qualifying? Like, at what point? Because, like, as soon as he's in qualifying, they can't replace him. So it really screwed Aston Martin. And now there's like issues because both reserve drivers also have different races coming up. Like they're in WEC or something like that. So like, what's going to happen? And then if this is like an ongoing thing that you've known about, like, I don't know. Like, that's just a weird one.
He got all that praise at the beginning of last year because he raced after crashing on his bike and having surgery and pins and all this stuff. And he came back right away. And so that same guy with no apparent injury that he sustained this weekend is all of a sudden out. That seemed, I don't know, it seemed bizarre.
Yeah, well, there's stories that he came into the garage, had a rant, didn't go to the weighbridge, left, and that would have put him to the back of the grid anyway. And then suddenly he's got this phantom wrist injury, which
so people were saying like maybe they saw him like he was pissed and like smashed, like hit his fist on something, and maybe that was it. I don't know. There's no proof of that I've seen. So I don't know. I could see it happening.
Yeah, or maybe just stormed out in a little huff. It's not happening for him, is it? So yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it's Felipe Drugovich who has been a reserve driver forever and never had a shot in a race. So maybe he'll be at Canada, but he was meant to be at Le Mans. But he said if Canada was on the table, then he would cancel his Le Mans drive, which makes sense. You know, he's wanting
Which
to
would be
get into
kind of
F1 forever.
sad. The only Canadian driver doesn't do his Grand Prix. Like, it's also got to be sad for him too.
Yeah, but you're not exactly waving the flag about Lance Stroll, are you, on a daily basis?
No, but
I
like,
mean,
I don't know. You hope he gets in the
yeah,
points at least.
yeah.
We also have like, this week, it's kind of like happened and gone, but everyone was talking about how like there were rumors that Ferrari was trying to get Horner to come over.
Yeah,
And he addressed it and he was like, I speak as much Italian as Flavio speaks English.
yeah. I like that.
And
I like that.
just really classic. So who knows though? Like all this shit, like he might be going to Ferrari, but he's never going to admit it until it happens. But it would seem weird. It doesn't make sense, but they need.
I can't see him going anywhere while Lewis is on that team.
No,
I can't.
I don't even
can't
think
imagine
Lewis would
them.
want it.
No, I can't imagine them working together. I can't imagine from either end. I mean, maybe Horner would like to work with Lewis, but I can't imagine Lewis works with him.
Lewis isn't going to be there unless things change. It's not good for him. It's not good for his mental health. Like no one needs that for another 2 years or something. Like it's insane.
No.
Something needs to happen else. I don't think he's not a quitter, clearly. Like, but I don't know. There comes a point where it's like, I'm done. Like I have to be done because like I'm not doing it. It's not happening. And this dream of the title, where is it?
And I think the dream and the fairy tale is like everyone knows he's getting close. You don't know how long he'll race, but he's getting close. And so this would be that last like couple down seasons at Mercedes. And then this is the last great, even if he doesn't win, just it's a great kind of farewell tour, however long that is. And it's just not, that's part of the heartbreak is it's not looking like that. It's just more of this downward spiral.
Yeah. It's not good. I hope he turns it around, at least gets on parity with Leclerc. That would be, I think that in itself would be a hell of a result. But yeah, at the minute
Silverstone's going to be his race. Silverstone
has to
do
be
it again.
Has to be.
Yeah. And then speaking of driver switch ups, we still have Alpine is like Colapinto's really was apparently in a 5 race deal, and he's got 2 left. Yeah. And apparently Flavio said that like there's a lot of interest, which I'm starting to think like the smartest call is going to be just to bring Sergio Perez back mid-season. Like give him a shot in another car and see if he's fucking killing it. Like maybe that is the move and he gets his other chance. But like Colapinto, he's had some issues. There's been some out of his control, but like, I don't know.
He's had a bit of a nightmare, hasn't he? And it's unfortunate for him because he actually did a really good lap, didn't he, in Q1? And he was ahead of Gasly, and then he could have built on that for his second run and maybe got through. And then he had a car failure. So it's the first chink of light he had, and then it got slammed closed really quick. So yeah, it doesn't look that great for him at the minute. He certainly doesn't look an upgrade on what Jack Doohan was doing in terms of raw speed, which is pretty scary for him, I think.
Yeah, it's not looking great. And also Sergio might at this rate come back and drive that Red Bull. Who knows?
Yeah, can you imagine?
I know.
When Max gets banned next weekend, Sergio comes back the next race, sticks it on pole, wins the race.
You know what?
Pretty good mic drop moment, wouldn't it?
Because he's their reserve driver, right?
Sergio, is he?
I don't know. Isn't Bottas? Isn't he everyone on the grid's reserve driver?
I think he's everyone. Yeah.
Every time I see Bottas, is like Aston Martin, Mercedes. He's probably Ferrari.
I know that
for all I know.
Sergio's in some capacity at Red Bull. Like he's still under contract, so I don't know. But it would be pretty interesting if Max did get a suspension, and they're out of guys, and they're like, "Can you give us one race?" And even if he doesn't win, if he got in the top 5, it would be just the biggest mic drop. It would be insane.
Would make sense because he's the only one that kind of knows how to drive that. If you throw anyone else in that car the first time, it's proven that they're not going to get above 15th.
And look, even though he didn't
Weird.
do great all the time, he's won races in that car. He's put it on pole in that car. He's done really well in that car. He's also done really bad, but also no one since has even been able to put together one good race.
Yeah, it could be anyone at this rate. Let's be honest. Jerry Halliwell could be in the car next week, and for all we know, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario.
Well, it was a fun race. The middle was weird, but then with that restart, I enjoyed it a lot.
I thought it was great. It was super cool. There was stuff happening.
I love that at least Max was on that 3-stop strategy, which was just a little wrinkle and everything. The safety car at the end was perfectly timed. I really like, especially I think anything after Monaco would have felt like an incredible race, but
That's true. It worked. It lived up to the billing. There was worries that it wouldn't be that good, but I thought it was a great race. And there was for purist people, there was intrigue with strategy and all that stuff. For people who just like the show, there was crashing into each other. Lawson was pinballing every car who came within 100 yards of him. It was actually pretty good fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
It was a good one. I liked it.
And so next up we have Canada, which is pretty awesome. But it's not next weekend,
2
is
weeks.
it? 2 weeks,
2
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah. So 2 weeks.
How
so
was Billy Bob's Billy's?
It was awesome. So I was telling Jethro, we watched, I think there were 10 of us, and
That's great.
Yeah.
And it was only my buddy Justin who helped me set up the whole thing, and we didn't know anyone else.
Come on, that's so fun.
So it was pretty fun. It was so much better. That little outlet was open so we could get in early. We watched a little pre-race. It was the same waitress from last time. I had an extension cord so we could just put it. We all sat down. So you
didn't have the sun glaring on it.
No, it was. We could all sit and it was so much better. It was fun, and it was fun to meet. There were these two women that happened to be in town from Utah this weekend.
Oh
wow!
Fun.
And so she reached out, and I'm like, yeah, come over. And so I was asking everyone where they're coming from, and she's like, actually, we're coming from Utah. She's like, but don't worry, we were already in LA, but so it was cool. It was cool.
They're not in your back garden right now, are they?
Yeah, we got to figure out Canada. It'd be really fun to watch Canada with a group of people because it'll probably be about noon for us, 11 noon. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to build up these watch parties, and I'll try and get out for one. I'm going to be in the States in July, but I'm just trying to figure out my diary. It's crazy at the moment. It's all different parts of it, and Laura's going to be there, and so it's just, I don't quite know where we're going to be and at what time. But yeah, I definitely want to come across to California, so maybe we can make one happen.
Yeah.
Are you guys on holiday or anything in July?
Yeah, till the 20th, till the July 20th, I think.
Okay.
10 through 20. Well, Matt, a little longer, I guess. But
what a life. Okay, well, amazing race. I think we're all pretty happy with Max. He's mixing it up. He's being the bad guy, and he's keeping our interest alive. Oscar and Lando is developing, but Oscar looks like the man at the moment. He is the favorite for the title, so who knew? So, at this point, Dax would say push, 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 push. We're just going to say next week we will have Canada track facts, more pulp. Maybe we'll get Lando's girlfriend's name right at some point. Who knows? But yeah, it's been a great race, and let's see what Max does next. Is he going to get banned? Is he going to win from pole, or is he just going to keep crashing into George Russell? That would be quite fun.
See you guys.
See you guys.